So my first shirt turned out cuter than I thought it was going to. So let me show you how to make this. All you're going to be doing is making a 4-inch Sawtooth Star block, right? And we're going to line it and make a little pocket, okay? So here's the things you're going to need. A 4.5-inch square for the lining, the inside pocket piece, right? You don't really see it, that piece. 3.25-inch square for your background. 4 1.5-inch squares of background. 1 2.5-inch center square, right? The center of the star. And 4 2-inch star for the star points. 4 2-inch squares. Okay? So once you get those, and of course a t-shirt to put it on, right? Once you get that all cut and ready, you're going to take your star point fabric and you're going to mark a diagonal line on the back side of all 4 of them. Okay? Just like this. Take a pencil and a ruler, diagonal line, all 4. And then I'll meet you at the sewing machine. Okay, so the first step in making your star block is we need to make these little flying geese points, okay? And I'm using the method where we make 4 flying geese at a time. So here we go. You got your 3.25-inch background, 2-inch star point squares, and you're going to line them up right in the corner. One there, and then another one on top. Just like that, right? Line up corner to corner, and you're going to sew a 1/4 inch on either side of those lines you drew. So here we go. Hold them in place. And a 1/4 inch down one side. Spin it around. 1/4 inch down the other side. Okay. Pull it out. And now we're just going to cut it apart on that line. Cut it straight apart on your line. Then we take this to the iron and push it back. So you cut it in half, and you just want to press it, these little triangles back. Just like that. You wanted to wiggle. There you go. Press them back. Push them back. There we go. Back to the sewing machine. So now you take your other little 2-inch squares and line them up on the corners. And we're going to do the same thing, a 1/4 inch down either side of the line you drew. 1 and 2. There we go. All right, cut the one from behind. Sew down the other side. Number 2. All right, cut them apart. And then again, get your scissors, and you're going to chop right on that line that you drew. Cut these in half. Whoop. Okay, and then we take these back to the iron one more time. Right, now we got to press the other half back. Your first flying geese made. Do that to all 4 of these. So before we can sew our little block together, we got to trim our flying geese up. We need to trim them down to 1.5 by 2.5 inches. I start by lining up this diagonal, 45-degree diagonal on the seam there, and then the middle would be 1.25. So 1.25, 1.25 lined up at that point, and the diagonal there. And I'm going to trim here and here. Here and here. Did I get it? Flip them around. 1.5 by 2.5, and we're 1.25 on that point. So we trim the right side and the top. Right, we're going to do that to all 4. I'll show you one more time. Oops, I start like this, and I line my 45-degree up with the seam, I'm looking for 1 1/4 to go at that point right there. I'm going to trim right in the top. Flip them around. And then now I can just line up the left edge and the bottom edge with 1 1/2 by 2 1/2. Here we go. All right, do that to the other two, and then I'll meet you back at the sewing machine. So now we get to sew the block together. Got it laid out on my design board, right? Take this piece to here. Pretty straightforward now. So use your 1/4 inch seam, this one, sew, right, sew, and then you'll sew, and then put the rows together. So you got your block all made, and now you need to bring in your lining square from the beginning. This was 4 1/2 inches. This should be 4 1/2 inches. We're going to put them right sides together. Leave a hole in the bottom. I like to start stitching right in front of the little seams here, and then I'm going to stop stitching right here to leave this hole. Okay, so just sew all around, 1/4 inch seam. There you go. Sew all around and leave a hole right here. Next thing, you just want to clip these little corners off. Be careful not to cut through your seam. And then flip them inside out. So you got it flipped right side out. You want to bring it to the iron for one more good press, right? Just kind of pinch your hole closed in there and give them a really good press, because the next step is pinning it on our shirt and sewing it down. It's almost time to wear it. All right, so place it on your shirt and give it a little quick pin. Make sure that the hole you left is on the bottom, because we're going to stitch it up closed as we stitch it onto the shirt. Okay, so this is kind of where I think it should be. I'm going to go try it on, make sure it's in the right place, repin if I need, and then we're back to the sewing machine for our last time. Yay! We are to the final step, guys. All we got to do is stitch it down, across, and up. And before we do, make sure you up your stitch length. I do it 3 clicks, so it's like about 2 1/2 before we stitch it on the shirt. Right, so just shimmy your shirt up in there. Make sure you're only sewing through the front, right up on the corner. It's going to be about 1/8 of an inch seam. Take a few back stitches at the very beginning, and then just take it slow and stitch it on. Make sure to shimmy the other piece out of the way and just go slow. When you get to your corners, leave the needle down and turn. Right, our hole was in the bottom, remember, so we're about to stitch it closed. There we go. Shimmy, shimmy. Needle down, turn. This is the last side. Everything's flat. Here we go. Almost there. Back stitch at the end, just a little tiny bit. Cut. Whoop, pull it out. That's what it looks like here. That's what it looks like on the inside. And time for the final reveal. And guess what, guys? I made 3 of these. So I'm about to show them off now. Here's what she looks like on, you guys. Isn't it so cute? I think this is my favorite one, actually. Right? Let me back up. Like I said, I did make 3. So I'll be right back with the next one. And here's number 2. Ooh, right? The burgundy. Cute. Just as cute. Wait for number 3. And here's the third and final version, right? I'd love to know which one was your favorite. Let me know in the comments below. I hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial as much as I did making it, right? Catch you in the next one. Bye.